So I am currently migrated towards a product manager, and that product manager is my the kind of product manager I am. I am kind of a fusion of say finance as well as tech. So I kind of call myself a fintech product manager. For building any product, first you need to be able to interact, understand, and being able to capture customer problems intelligently, and then you build in the process of designing it in the right way, which gives the right solution for that problem. More than what you're being able to do, you should understand what you're not able to do, and only then you'll be able to stay ahead of the curve. So one quality that you have to have is curiosity, because curiosity will take you ages. Like finance, for instance, requires a lot of understanding of the academic from an academic perspective, and I would actually recommend people to at least have this kind of shot where you can interact or be in an education field where you're not limited by only your role. You might have people coming from different backgrounds, which will give you different kind of learnings. But then I always had an inclination towards businesses. So academically, I was always up there. Even in CA, I was uh, rank holder. So academically, I was always up there. But then I always had an inclination towards businesses, coming from a background of professionals and entrepreneurs. I always was keen on or work in the direction of setting up new businesses. So always was inclined towards that, and even my research or during my days of college. So after CA, I did MBA specifically, to pursue that inclination. And once I did my MBA, I was very clear in the kind of roles and profiles I would want to work, because I was very keen on the growing startup space at that point of time. And that led to jumping onto the opportunity I got, the first opportunity I got into a pure business kind of space, and then I just latched onto it, thinking, let me take this leap and then see where life takes me. So yeah, very very straightforward in that sense. Yeah, so it was I think the one of the best times of my life, if I have to put it, because till very early stage of my life, before of course I went into the MBA phase, it was very much into being studious and being only academically inclined in general. And then when I went into MBA, I realized there are different facets of being into a corporate world, and what does it mean to just not be limited to an academic or a very professional set of things. To run businesses, you need to have different kind of skill sets, and that skill set you'll only come to know when you kind of interact with peers who are very various big for different backgrounds. So that was my biggest key takeaway. My peers, specifically coming from very, very, very backgrounds, having very different perspectives. So that is how helped me widen my vision, widen my perspectives. So that was a very good experience in general, and I would actually recommend people, to at least have this kind of shot where you can interact or be in an education field where you're not limited by only your role. You might have people coming from different backgrounds, which will give you different kind of learnings. Yeah, so I'll put it in two different ways, because these are two very different roles. Finance, for instance, requires a lot of understanding of the academic, from an academic perspective. And on the other side, the business innovation aspect, that comes a lot from being able to interact with different kind of people, different kind of businesses. So both of them are in their own perspectives having different require different kind of skill set. So for from a finance perspective, it is very important that you're good with numbers. That is for sure. I mean, even if you're not, I mean, you have to really practice very hard, because when you are into finance profile, the possibility of you going wrong in a numerical way does not help you in your career at all. So you have to be very good, very sharp, and very accurate with numbers. Of course, in a very basic way. Of course, there are a lot of things attached to finance from a very advanced way, that you need to have clarity of concepts, you need to understand fundamentals of finance. Of course, those are there, but at a very basic level you have to be good with numbers. That is what I would say. And on the business model innovation or business innovation side, what you have to be one quality that you have to have is curiosity, because curiosity will take you ages. Like being able to talk to, say, an Uber driver, from there to being able to talk to CXOs of well-established companies. If you have that ability to talk to any one of them and still, understand their life and how can you make their life better, you will always have a bent of mind, where you will always be thinking of innovation, where you always be bringing in new ideas, whether it be being able gets converted into a business or not, that's secondary, but you'll always be and become an idea machine, for that matter. See, it is very important to understand what are the problems or challenges when you're working in a particular kind of profile. More than what you're being able to do, you should understand what you're not able to do, and only then you'll be able to stay ahead of the curve. So for me also, right now, what I'm doing, I have things which I want to do, but I actually make a list. I have a list of things which I want to do, but I'm not being able to do today because of paucity of time, right? So I kind of think in a way that, rather than what I can do on a short term basis, what are the things on a long term basis that I need to do, or which I'm not able to do today just because of paucity of time. But if I would have done, I would have. So being ability to think that, what will make your life better in general will help you stay ahead of the curve, and also being able to interact with the folks in the same industry. Of course, that will also be helpful. Yeah. As so for that, you need to understand my current role, which we have not touched upon. So I am currently migrated towards a product manager, and that product manager is my the kind of product manager I am kind of a fusion of, say, finance as well as tech. So I kind of call myself a fintech product manager. And when you work in that kind of profile, you need to, I mean, understand what your consumers want, and what are you solving for. You have to be very clear about that, and the problem you are solving for should also be painful for a customer. If it is not painful enough, the customer will never be ready to pay for a solution. So that is how, I function when or I function, because I am in a product role. In the end, my product should be a well designed product, a market fit, as well as solving a painful problem. Only then, it will be able to scale into a proper business. So yeah. Yeah, that was very specific question per se, but then I'll try to address it in how do you build new products in general, because been working in this. So we started off as a new venture within an MNC in the last 3 years, and we've been working in the direction of building new products. We built products which involve or have tech as a base, or a platform, and then we keep on adding different flavors of service, different flavors of finance, as I'm adding the different flavors of finance. So that is how we're building the new products, and the journey is very complicated per se, because see, building products, as I said, and I answered this previously also, that it is a customer driven approach that one needs to have. It should always come from the customer, that what is their need, what they want, and of course, and not exactly what they desire, because what they want, only then, if you will be able to solve, are looking to solve that problem, it becomes easier to build a business around that. So for building any product, first, you need to be able to interact, understand, and being able to capture customer problems intelligently, and then, you build in the process of designing it in the right way, which gives the right solution for that problem. Yeah. That's a good one, because see, what my role specifically entails is doing that. Today, if you'll see the finance world, or even banks or NBFCs, and then the third India. So we talk about, from a financial sense, the first wave had happened in the top 1 to 5% population, where UPI could capture those guys, or even the financing was limited only to the top guys who had a good credible score and had good financial transaction history. Then it moved towards the second India, India 2, we call that, where the masses or the middle class, upper middle class people got covered. And now it is moving towards the roots, and rather even penetrating in the rural segment, or rather it has already, because you'll see even in the rural parts of the country or villages, they now accept payments through UPI. They need to have that, because that is how their customers function. They want to pay through UPI as well. So if you'll see how technology has enabled the payment or the transaction world, it has gone much more faster. If you'll see even the developed countries, we are way ahead of the curve in that matters. Today UPI alone has grown. If you'll see the chart, I was just going through some statistics from 2016 or so, 14 onwards, in 24, in last 10 years, it has grown like crazy. I think today 1,80,000 crore worth of transactions are performed through UPI, which is like unbelievable. So technology, any finance professional today who does not have a technology bent of mind, will have a lot of difficulties in growing his career eventually. So for me, like I've heard this thing, and I also agree to this fact that as science maths is taught in school, eventually, even for guys who are in finance who do not have a coding background, should go towards and learn a bit of coding, learn a bit of computer science, should have that bent of mind. Only then, to them it will be helpful in the long run. So that I think has to become as a part of the academic career also eventually. So yeah, both were pretty varied. So if you'll see the energy or power industry, or any of those industries, those are kind of an investment models. So basically, if you'll see on and we used to work. I was a part of a consultancy where we used to advise clients for setting up pretty huge projects. So those clients, or those developers we used to work for, were generally investment companies. So they used to invest in these large projects, and then used to pass on to the the EPC contractors, the O&M, who would then come into play, set up the plant, run it in the longer run. So that was a very different experience, because we were generally working with the investment companies. The focus was only on the thought process of, see, I am putting X amount of money. What is the return that I'm going to get over a period of, say, 25 years, 30 years? So the mindset was very different in those kind of projects, or those kind of yeah, products. So it was a pure play capital investment approach that these guys have, the investment company in the energy. Versus, if you'll see the automobile industry, or rather we'll call ourselves an automobile component industry, which now we are moving into, or say I'm working for the mobility solutions for this, for these guys. So you'll see that this is a very utility driven industry. Whatever you are solving for is for the end user, and end user is, of course, going to pay you for something only when you are able to solve a need, right? It's a need based thing, right? So it is highly customer driven, or customer can be anyone. It can be a business, it can be a end user, can be anyone. But in the end, you are solving a problem, and the value, or the pricing, or the investment thought process here is very different. It is like a, you're not looking for, say, a return of X percentages, and IRR of, say, late single digit, early double digit IRRs. That is what is being taken in the investment, or in the energy sector. Here you will more see returns of obnoxious returns. They want to double the money, they want to 4x the money. That is how startups think, and we are also kind of a new venture inside the company. That is how our thought process is also evolved, that we want to multiply, or work in that direction. We multiply the money, and not only grow, rather not grow in percentages, but grow in x's, is what we call. Yeah. So, see, I would break that into two parts. One is how does it impact the industry in a positive way. So you'll see, if we come from an industry which is a tire industry. So there, you'll ask, how does the sales, or how does the growth of a tire industry determine? So many people will come and say, how much cars are sold in the market, that is one of the parameters. But how we see it is much different. We see that how much a person travels is how how our industry will shape. So mobility industry, in that sense, mobility in general, is linked to how much a person travels. So from a global perspective, we have to see that, how much things, get decentralized or publicized in terms of how much people shift themselves from, say, public transportation to having their private vehicles. So the more the number of vehicles, in that sense, more they travel, more the industry will grow. So that is how the industry is getting impacted. And the factor right now, so right now we are standing at a place in terms of economy where we just ended COVID. From a global perspective, the COVID has just ended. The economy is now, economies of the world, in that sense, is now stably growing again back to its path. Plus, because of COVID, this travel thing again is now taking shape and, growing faster. So you'll see a good positive impact in the short run, but in the longer run, of course, the things will stabilize, is what I believe. But then, only time can tell. I mean, I'm just a very small piece in the thing to have some predictions, but of course, time will tell how things go. So I'll give you example of how we used to function. So when we started our journey as a part of this team, which was a team where the end goal was very simple. It was that you come up with opportunities which have impact either on top line, on bottom line, or on the brand in general. So that the end goal should be very clear in what you're looking at. Once the end goal is clear, the second thing is to identify what kind of problem you are able to solve. And again, I'm speaking the same thing, whether this customer, there is a need, is the problem painful enough, whether the customer will be able to pay for that problem, and how fast you can customize yourself to the needs of your customers. So that is how any business model comes into play. And of course, along with all this, you need to have a very good understanding on. So if you'll have understanding of a business model canvas, you have to have a very good understanding on what are your channels, what are your customers, what is your cost structure, what is your revenue structure, what are your fixed costs or variable costs. So from a financial angle, all those aspects, all those things also, you should be very clear. Only then you'll be able to build a very profitable model. Like for D2C brands, or D2C businesses, what we as in general believe is, till the time your cost is not 1/7 of your revenue, your direct cost, till that time you'll not be able to set up a profitable business, because after that your commission structures, your logistics, your marketing comes into play, and all those become even more important against your just the cost of producing that good. So like that, every industry has its own, or every business has its own moat. So if you have to identify how it will become successful, and you just have to then work in that direction to make it successful. So uh, feasibility and scalability. So I'll first answer the feasibility part, which is, of course, which gets answered through the product market fit. You have built a product, but either your customer is not buying, or your pricing is not right. So for any of these reasons, your product might still get failure. So first, be to be able to be feasible in the market, there should be a product market fit. So that is the direct answer to the feasibility part. Now answering the scalability part, which is, I think, where most of the smaller companies or early stage companies struggle, is that scale requires a lot more a mindset where you can standardize all your processes. Till the time you cannot standardize your processes and policies, the ability to scale gets hindrance. As long as your business is dependent upon individual decision making, your speed of scale will always be lower. Till that, once you have processes in place where the individuals are empowered because of those processes as a part of the entire journey, your business will be able to scale much faster. So the ability to scale is dependent upon how fast you can standardize your processes and policies. That is what I have learned in my whatever little career I have had till date. So risk is a very important aspect to consider actually before starting. So risk can be of multiple types, right? Whenever you are starting any new venture, the biggest risk is in one word, if I say, the risk of failure of that startup, because that will entail a lot of other things as well. But why this failure can happen, that can have multiple things. If your product is not right, it is not fitted in it does not fit in the market. Yeah, if your investors drive the decision making and they are actually not as much closely associated with the market as you are, and there are numerous other reasons which can result into the risk part. So uh, it is very important to understand what kind of environment, as a startup founder or as a new venture you're working in, and what are the different forces which influence this environment. And it can be your suppliers, it can be your customers, it can be anyone. So as long as you have an understanding and you still have a relation where the bargaining power lies with the external and not internally, till that time the ability to scale and ability to function as a business will always remain. As soon as you give a bargaining power either to your supplier or customer, and it goes outside, it is very easy to get very easy to get for a new startup or a competition to come up and take your space, and just you get lost into the winds there. Yeah. If I go back and I understand majorly, it is very much linked to the risk part. So to take high stake financial decisions, you just one needs to understand what are the risks associated with decision and why can it go wrong. Why can the And if you are aware of why can it go wrong, you will work in the direction of removing all those wrong things in the process of making this decision right. So till the time you're able to understand where and why it can go wrong, and you can eliminate those risks, you are always in the right direction to take these decisions. And I believe that more than taking the decisions, it is also important. Taking a decision is like just 10%. There 90% you have to put in effort to ensure that whatever decision you have made is right, and you have to make the effort towards making your decision right. That is how I think. So even if you have taken a financial decision, a very simple example, if you have acquired a company but you do not know what you want to do with that company, it will never be successful. But if you work in the direction of ensuring there are synergies being met, then of course 100% it will become a successful. Yes, it has changed a lot. If you'll see today, whenever as a finance function in the organization, we discuss amongst ourselves also, we always discuss that how can we get ourselves as more into value addition roles, rather than being a part of a simple process in the organization. So the role today has changed. It is for all the finance professionals, the actual role has become a data driven intelligent decision making. Because till the time you will not be able to understand and see data, you'll not be able to make right decisions. So and because of that, now you'll see a lot of finance professionals or a lot of job hirings mention specifically that you should be good with Power BI, you should be good with data analytics tools. So even if you ask me that whatever I am doing or whatever people I am hiring in my team, I am very sure on the part that I need people who are very good with data and are very good with data analytics skills. So that is on the data analytics skill part. On the AI side, I think there are a lot of use cases today. I think Indian organizations or other organizations which are actually looking to are still in the stage of automating their processes, and the data coming in still does not have, or they're not still in the direction of making the decisions, or drawing the intelligence out of data. They're still on the path of understanding how they can integrate and see how generative AI can help them. But I think people have started, or these industries, companies have started working in this direction, how they can better leverage the technology, and the use case will come. I think there will be some developments in the next couple of years, but too early at this point of time. I think still, you see a very impactful decision or impactful changes in the organizations because of this. I see there are still 1 or 2 years to there, but it is surely going to make some shock waves in the industries, in the organization. One is, of course, how easily the existing product can be replicated in the new geography. So till the time, if you have mastered a particular geography with a particular product, you understand the nuances of the market, you understand why that product is working in that market, and then the next step, of course, becomes that what is the market which is very similar to that, so that I can just replicate my product in the new market, and rather than creating a new product for a new market. Creating a new product for a new market where the behavior of customer is very different, it is like building a new business altogether. So you'll also see that certain companies which start and expand into certain geographies, they end up closing in certain businesses in certain geographies, because they are not able to understand the market, they are not able to cater the way they are being able to cater in other geographies. So it is very important to understand how closely it is linked to the, or how closely the customer behaves in the new market as well. The advice will be very simple. You have to be hands on with your concepts, because a finance professional is expected to have very good control over his fundamentals, his concepts, very good control over financials or financial statements, very good control over data analytics, numbers. So these are the kind of, I think, things which any student who's want to be working in this direction should be aware of. And of course, if you want to go up and beyond, and you also want to be a good say a consultant or a good investment banking professional, then you also have to polish and work on your soft skills, on your conversational skills, because those become very important when you want to go into build a career in consulting or in investment banking. If For that to answer, I think what I have experienced, or what I've seen in the last few years, how things have transformed outside India, or rather in developed markets. You'll see a lot of technology coming into play, and converting automobile per se industry into a mobility solutions industry, where you're solving the problem of delivering goods or passengers, or delivering yourself from point A to point B, rather than just thinking of selling a car. So that is how the industry is now also being looked into, and that is where your Olas, Ubers, Rapidos of B2C market have come into play. So in B2B also, we have seen certain startups like Delivery, Revigo take some shape. But I think B2B still has lot to solve for the large or medium sized transporters. And in the B2B space, I think as and when more technology shapes place and more technology comes into play, where they can have a value adding role for these large transporters, it is set to grow further. I think technology will have a very, very, very big role to play in future, in the automobile industry, and whosoever or whichever companies are able to adapt and grow or customize these needs faster will become leaders of the market in future.